Hi, I'm Shruti More. Welcome to my LifePage. So today we'll be talking about occupational therapy, but before that, let me introduce myself. So I'm an occupational therapist and I'm talking to you today from Manali. I moved to Manali 5 years back from Mumbai out of for main two reasons: to work and to live a lifestyle which I live today. I've been born and brought up in Mumbai. I studied occupational therapy at St. GS Medical College and KM Hospital, and there was a very unique life incident which happened, which kind of made me like relocate from Mumbai to Manali. I want to share that because it was very crucial for me at that point of time to be able to decide which path I was going to take for the rest of my life. So in 2010, there was a cycling expedition organized by Youth Hostel of India. So we were 111 of women from all over the country, and we cycled from Kullu to Khardungla, which is the highest motorable road. So that was the reason why I was in Kullu. I had just finished my fourth year, the final year of my occupational therapy, and I was here in Kullu for that expedition. While I was in Kullu, I came across this center, which is based in the main Kullu town, and I was very amazed to know that in a small town like Kullu, there's a center for special needs children. So that was in my mind. And the first day when we were cycling from Kullu to Manali, I came across one girl, Sonali, and so Sonali is she's now 17 years old, and that time when I came across her, she has cerebral palsy, which is permanent brain damage. So when I saw her, I wanted to get her in touch with the center, or the center in touch with her. And the way I saw her in the house, that image kind of stayed with me throughout the next 30 days that I was cycling. It was not the most pleasant sight I have seen of a child with disability. And for the next 30 days, we were cycling, and we reached Khardungla. We even made a Limca record of the highest number of women cyclists to be on the highest motorable road. And that 1 month in the mountains completely changed my life. Even when I was back in Mumbai, I always had a calling for the mountains. And this 1 month in the Himalayas just completely changed my perspective towards a lot of things in life. When I got back to Mumbai, I came to know that I had cleared my examination and I had to finish my 6 months of internship at KM Hospital, and then I would have my degree in hand. My initial plan for life was that I wanted to go to US to pursue my master's. So occupational therapy, which is a rehab medicine, is very popular in the developed first world countries. So it was not a very conscious thought, but that was the regular trend which was followed. You finish your graduation and then you go to US to pursue your master's and then eventually start working there, just for the attraction of the life there, and because it's more lucrative to be working as an occupational therapist there. So that was also what I had kind of not decided, but that is the thing you do. But after when I came back from the mountains, because I wanted to get Sonali in touch with my center, with the center, the Handy Muscle Center, which I had seen in Kullu. I googled them, thinking that I would be able to find some contact information, and I came across the Handy Muscle blog, and I wrote to them saying that there's this girl called Sonali which I saw in Manali, and if somehow the center could reach out to her. And then I heard back from Dominic, who was the founder of this NGO. So she's based in Paris, but Handy Muscle was her brainchild 9 years back. And then we started talking, and I came to know how Handy Muscle was set up, what is the condition of children with disabilities in the Kullu Valley. And I was very moved by knowing with what convention Dominic put the Handy Muscle project together. And so Handy Muscle project, they already knew about Sonali, but because there were very few therapists and a lot of children, and Sonali was really placed far from the center. It was difficult for Sonali to come to the center. So the therapists who were working at the center back then, they used to visit Sonali once in a while and try to give her a home program at home. And that is when I kind of started thinking that, is like there's a place here which actually needs people like me to work, and whether going to US was really a right, well thought a decision. And also getting back to Mumbai, not being able to see mountains out of the window, or not being able to have that vast expanse of sky at night made me very uneasy. All I could dream was just the mountains. So it got increasingly difficult for me to get back to the madness of the city. And then that is when the thought came to me that probably I could go to Handy Himachal and join them as the occupational therapist, because they have been actively looking for Indian therapists, but because we are so few in number and most of us go to US or to other developed countries to work, we have very less therapists in the country. And that is when I decided that I'll come to Kullu and work at Handy Himachal. It took about 6 months of convincing for my parents to make them understand that I did not want to go to US, and in fact wanted to come to Kullu. But eventually I was able to convince them, and I was in Kullu like 8 months after I finished my internship, and I joined them as the occupational therapist. So I have been working with Handy Himachal for the past 5 years. I joined them as an occupational therapist, but and then went on to became the unit manager, and now I'm the project manager for the entire project. Now I would like to tell you what occupational therapy is. So occupational therapy is a branch of medical science which come under rehabilitation medicines. So occupation in this context usually the first idea people have about when I tell them that I'm an occupational therapist is that I'm going to help them get a job. But in this context, when we say occupational therapy, by occupation we mean all the life skills which a person requires to be able to live an independent life. By life skills, I mean talking, walking, wearing your clothes, eating food, doing your grooming. For children, it could be playing, going to school, reading, writing. For somebody who's a professional, suppose if he's a teacher, then for a teacher, his occupational roles will be to prepare class lessons, to be able to talk. For a person who works in a bank or who is an engineer, for him the occupations would be that he should be able to use the computer, his rational thinking. So this is what we mean by occupation. Occupation in this context is all life skills one person would require to live an independent and a purposeful life. So in occupational therapy, what we do is if any person after any medical illness, if he loses a life function, if he loses a skill set, then we try to regain that function to him in whatever capacity it is possible. So for example, if after an accident, a person had to ampute his leg. So after the medical procedure which is followed, he has lost his life skill or a body function of walking. So as an occupational therapist, my aim would be that this person should be able to walk independently. So I would work on his body functions. I would see if it's amputated, if we could use any prosthesis to to adjust his missing body part. I would help in training him to walk with the help of orthosis, and my ultimate goal will be that he should be able to walk independently. So occupational therapy has a wide range of scope in with which age group you work, in what kind of settings you work. Your job profile will kind of differ in that way. So you could work with children, you could work with adults, you could work with different kind of illnesses in the medical field, or you could work in with children with special needs, or even in regular schools. So there's a wide range of scope or area of interest which you could choose to work in. So in Handy Machal is a therapy center for children with special needs. So we have children from 0 to 18 years of age, and because of a disability or a medical illness, if they have lost a function, then we help to make them independent. So I could give you an example, like cerebral palsy is the most common diagnosis our children have. Cerebral palsy is a permanent brain damage, and whichever part of the brain has been damaged, it could be many reasons for the brain damage. That part of the brain, the function of that part is affected. So some of our children cannot talk, they don't have control over their body movements, their speech is affected, their cognition is affected. So this is the general picture of a child with cerebral palsy. So my aim as an occupational therapy would be that I would try to make these children independent to whatever level of skill sets they have. So making these children independent in their life skills is my main job as an occupational therapist. Now I would like to tell you what education is required to be an occupational therapist. In that, the first thing is that you need basic knowledge and interest in life sciences.